Ohio. You know I worked in Ohio. You do know that. We had a great success in Ohio. I love Ohio. I love the people of Ohio. Thank you all very much. In Ohio, we have to win Ohio. So, you know, I really had an interesting time because I'm coming up and I'm watching television and they are hitting me at that convention, drunk, and they're going a little crazy because we're leading now with the polls. Supposed to happen. Crooked Hillary Clinton, she's not doing very well. Let's just win. Let's just win. November 8th, we're going to win. That's the only thing. You've got to get out, you've got to vote, we've got to win big. We've got such opposition, the press is totally dishonest. 25% of them. And we have to fight it, we do. We have to fight the dishonesty of the press. We have to fight a lot of things, but you know, we do better when we have to fight. We do better when we, you know, when we started this journey on June 16th, so I had 17 people all together, and one by one, and they said that we as a group, because this is really a movement like you've never seen before, folks. Like you've never seen. You know, outside, there are more than 5,000 people trying to get in, and this is a big arena. So they're putting loudspeakers out there, but I tell you what, it has been such an honor. You know, I tell people I'm the messenger. I'm doing a very good job as the messenger, but I'm the messenger. And I'm the messenger of common sense. I'm the messenger of this, like, let's be smart. Let's not be the stupid people anymore. We are led down the drain. Look, we have numbers, and I always do this. I like to do it. And Toledo, we like Toledo, right? We like Toledo. That's the good news, all right? But look at this. Ohio has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed the agreement. Terrible. And by the way, Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. It was one of the really bad agreements from an economic standpoint, probably the worst agreement ever signed in the history of this country, perhaps in the history of the world. There's never been anything like this. Now they want to go TPP, you know what's going on, right? Trans-Pacific Partnership. It is, right? It is a total disaster. And Hillary Clinton said she'll never sign it. In a million years, she won't sign it, right? Except her #1 person in the world, perhaps beyond her husband even, and I thought he did okay last night, not great, but he left out the best chapter. He didn't talk, and that's okay. I agree, he should have left that chapter out, right? But look, TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, one of the worst things, it will be worse than NAFTA. And Hillary Clinton said it's the gold standard. It will drain your jobs out of this area, out of Ohio and out of Toledo, like you've never seen before. And by the way, Terry McAuliffe, the governor of Virginia, there's nobody closer to Hillary Clinton. He said, don't worry about it. If she gets elected, she'll sign it. You know what happened? That she was totally in favor, called it the gold standard. Then when she heard me speaking about it, she said, I can't beat him in a debate on this subject. So she went against it. But as soon as she gets elected, she will sign it 100%. And Terry McAuliffe said that. Now he took it back. Oh, I was only kidding, right? It would be a disaster for Ohio. It would be a disaster for Toledo. We can't let it happen. And the one way you know it's not going to happen is to elect Donald Trump. So Toledo has lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs. Last year, the U.S. deficit with TPP countries, listen to this, translated into 112,000 jobs lost in Ohio. Think of it. This is what they're doing. So can you imagine what's going to happen if TPP is done? No good. You can't have it, all right? When you look at the jobs lost in the Toledo region, 4,350. I'm not telling you anything, but you want to stay here, right? Don't move. Don't move. Help is on its way. Help is on its way. Don't move. You don't want to move. Last year, at least 4,350 jobs in the Toledo region have moved to Mexico. Since 2001, you lost 4,350 jobs. The labor force in Ohio is smaller today than it was in 2000. And the number of unemployed people is larger. You've heard that, right? Since 2000, median household income in Ohio has declined by $9,000. Come on, folks, let's get going. Let's go. That's not good. That's no good. That's no good. So look at it. Since 2000, the number of people on food stamps in Ohio has nearly tripled. What's going on? It's pretty depressing. Don't worry, we're going to get to the good stuff because we're going to fix it, all right? It's like the other night, they said, the haters, most people said the speech was really good, but the haters said it was dark. That's all they could say. They even said delivery, everything was good, but it was dark. It wasn't dark. You know what it was? It was very optimistic. I said what the problem was, and I said we're going to fix it, right? And that's what it is. I don't believe this. Nearly 1 in 5 people in Toledo are living below the poverty line. No good. No good. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't sell that house. Help is on its way in the form of Donald Trump. I have like 5 pages. It's too depressing. You walk out here and say, that was the most depressing speech I've ever heard. From 2013 to 2014, the number of drug-related overdose deaths in Ohio increased by 20%, right? You know about that. Build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. It's crazy. So we're going to do a lot of things. And believe me, this is, other than what I had to read you the statistics, right? Because we have to start off. But this is an election of optimism. Now, Hillary Clinton is saying change. She's been doing this for 30 years. She's not going to change anything. She's totally controlled by the lobbyists and by the special interests. Folks, she's not going to change anything. And by the way, the system was totally rigged against Bernie Sanders. Totally rigged. 100%. And Bernie is exhausted. Bernie just wants to go home and go to sleep. Bernie. He's had it. Bernie's had it. And honestly, honestly, from the standpoint of legacy, because he had a good thing going. Now, his crowds, by the way, were much, much, much smaller than mine. That's the good news. But he was second above any other Republican. But our crowds are beyond. Nobody's seen. You know what? And I say it all the time. We've been on the cover of Time magazine so much over the last year that it's almost like I don't even read the stories anymore. It's like, all my life, being on the cover of Time magazine, that was a big deal. I was like 1 or 2 times in my lifetime. And I've been, I think, 6 or 7 times in the last year. So you tell me, which is more important, real estate or politics? I think it's probably politics. But what it really is making America great. That's what it really is, not just because we have a movement going on. And Time magazine said it, and everybody else said it, and even these very dishonest people back here, they said it. No, they said it. And, by the way, that's a lot of cameras going on considering we have a Democratic convention, right? That's a lot of things. But you know, it's really pretty good. Somebody asked me at a news conference this morning, and they said, Mr. Trump, this is a very unusual campaign. You're not supposed to be working today, the day of a convention. I said, why not? Well, it's very unconventional. So we'll call it an unconventional convention. But they said, it's very unconventional. And it was very unconventional the way you ran in the primaries. I said, yeah, no, but here I am. Right? Here we are. Somebody said, I know you're starting to lead now. I said, not starting, we're leading by a lot. We're actually leading by a lot. And we're leading in Ohio. We're leading in Ohio. And I think we're going to win Ohio. We're going to win Pennsylvania. I just left Pennsylvania. Just left Scranton, Pennsylvania. And by the way, Pennsylvania has the same problem as Ohio. The jobs are being sucked out of Pennsylvania. They're being sucked out of Ohio. They're being sucked out of Michigan, New England, every place because of NAFTA and other things. Our taxes are too high. My tax plan lowers taxes more than any other plan of any candidate that's run for the office of president. Republican or Democrat. We have to. We're the highest tax nation just about in the entire world, okay? And nobody knows that more than the middle class. And the middle class is suffering in this country. You know, the middle class built the United States. It really did. It built the United States. And our politicians forgot about the middle class, all right? They forgot about the middle class. They took care of wealthy people like me. I am not complaining, I'll be honest with you. It's ridiculous. Actually, it's ridiculous. But I'm going to help you. We're going to help you. We're going to help you. It's unfair. It's a rigged system. It's a broken system. It's an unfair system. And it's unfair to people that work so hard. You know, they call it the forgotten man and woman. But the forgotten man and woman. They're forgotten. 18 years, when you look, 18 years ago, you made more money in real terms than you're making today. You didn't work as hard, and you were a lot younger. And in many cases today, because of Obamacare, which we're going to repeal and replace, in many cases, I mean, what's happening, you have part-time jobs. Who has a part-time job? You don't have to raise your hand if you're embarrassed, but don't be embarrassed. It means you're working hard. But who has part-time jobs? People that never had part-time jobs before are being forced into part-time work because of Obamacare. It's insane. We're going to repeal it. We're going to replace it with something much better and much less expensive, okay? That's right. So a year ago, President Obama said, Donald Trump will not become the president. They also said Donald Trump wouldn't get the nomination. You remember? They said Donald Trump will not run. Then they said, well, he ran. And then I started off with 6%. Not bad. You know, it was only half a week. So I started off with 6. I went to 12, went to 18, went to 20. Then I went to 24, then I went to 26, then I went to 29. And every time I go up, they'd say, the pundits, well, that's a ceiling. He won't go any higher. Week after week, I was driving these poor people. Week after week. And the crowds were massive right from the beginning. We had the biggest crowds. We went to Mobile, Alabama. We had 35,000 people. We have these incredible crowds. We were driving them crazy. But every single week, I go up. And then we had one place where I had 38%, and I think we had like 11 or 12 people. You know, don't forget, we had 11 or 12 people. And when you get 38 with 11 or 12 people, that's almost impossible. And then I had one where I had 48, and we had like 7 or 8 people. 48% with all of these people. And the pundits were saying, he hasn't broken 50. What do we do? Abraham Lincoln could not have broken 50. And then a couple of more guys came out. And all of a sudden we just won. We had 78% in California. We had a massive landslide in New York, massive in Pennsylvania. We did great in Ohio. If I had 2 more days, we would have won Ohio. 2 more days. 2 more days of campaigning. We did great in Ohio. But 2 more days of campaigning, I would have won Ohio. What happened is I was in Florida. I was doing great in Florida. And then they came out with what you call a dirty poll. It was done by NBC. And you know what a dirty poll? That's a poll that perhaps, let's not say, in my opinion, I'll say it this way, in my opinion, it was a phony poll, all right? And I thought I'd win it easily. And they had a headline, Donald Trump down to 6 points. I said, oh no, I have to stay. So I stayed in Florida, campaigned, and I won by a massive amount. Much more than anticipated. I won't go into it because I'm running against a guy who now he just endorsed me and he was very nice, so I'm not going to go into it. But I won big, like real big, like many, many times that poll. But because of the dirty poll, I had to stay in Florida and campaign for 2 more days. If I would have come to Ohio for 2 more days, we would have won Ohio too. It doesn't matter because I had 38 states plus the islands, 42, 44, something like that, and won more votes than anybody in the history of the Republican Party. That's good. And if I didn't, I wouldn't have it right now because the system is set for politicians to win. And the last thing we need is another politician. Believe me. It's been an amazing experience. So now we started off with essentially one person. I mean, these other 2 people, forget it. Although I think a vote for Stein would be good. You know, it's the Green Party. Because I figure anybody voting for Stein is going to be for Hillary, so I think vote for Stein is fine. And the other guy, I don't know what his story is. I watched him the other day on television. I don't quite get that. I don't quite. But what we have to do, no, say nice things about your governor. You have to do that, right? Huh? Oh, he was very nasty to your governor. No, we don't want that. But look, we are going to do things like have never been done before. And the reason that Bill O'Reilly and so many others, but Bill O'Reilly said that what has happened to Donald Trump is the single biggest political phenomenon that he's witnessed in his life. Many people have said. And by the way, speaking of phenomena, I'd like to introduce you to somebody who is very, very special, who gave a great speech the other night at the convention. And I'm a little prejudiced because he's my son, Eric Trump. Eric!
to make sure everybody knows that. Second of all, we had the greatest week in Ohio last week. We had the greatest time. My father knocked it out of the park. We had a blast as a family, so thank you for the hospitality. But guys, we are so proud of our father. Honestly, this guy has meant more to me than any person in the world. He's been the greatest father in the world, and I wish him tremendous luck. And there is no question in my mind that we will win this and we will make America great again. Thank you.
You did a great job the other night.
You don't have a seat back now.
Remember this, and I was talking to Eric on the way over.
You don't have a seat, you have to clear the aisle.
Whoever wins this election may be the most important. You know, every year they say, every 4 years they say the most important. This may be the most important election for many, many, many decades. This could be, and just remember this. And most people who come, we actually have a very unified party, believe it or not. You saw that the other night when people went absolutely crazy in love. They want a unified party. But remember this, is so important to remember. Supreme Court justices. If there's no other reason, you've got to get me, because I'm the one. But we lost a great justice in Scalia, great guy. And we have to replace Judge Scalia with justices of the Supreme Court like him. If Hillary Clinton gets in, she is now so far left that we're never going to have a country again. We're going to end up being Venezuela. We're going to end up being Venezuela. So, when I see certain people, and there are very few, but when they're not on board, all it means is this. It's Trump or Clinton, somebody else. It's Trump or Clinton. And we have to remember Supreme Court justices. We put out a list because I'm not a politician. So some conservative people were a little bit skeptical, and I can understand that. They said, well, how about if he puts liberal judges on? Well, it's not like our presidents have done such a great job. Not like they've done such a great job. I mean, we had 2 chances to knock out Obamacare, and we had an appointment of somebody, I won't say, but the appointment didn't work out too well. Didn't work out too well, because shockingly, they approved, essentially, they allowed Obamacare to go forward twice. Should have never happened. So, now in all fairness, sometimes you pick a judge, doesn't work out. That's happened. Numerous of them over the last 25 years, that's happened. We're going to pick great judges. We're going to pick conservative judges. We're going to pick judges that have those again, let's say national security is always #1 and all, and we have to say that. But here we have a case. And this particular president coming up could have 3, it could have 4, and it could even have 5 justices. Will probably set an all-time record for the number of justices of the Supreme Court. And if you put Hillary Clinton in there, the country will never recover. But it would literally take 75 to 100 years to recover. So you have to get out and you have to think just that. So when you have somebody, and we don't have many people, I'm telling you, you don't have many of those people. But just tell them, justices of the Supreme Court. So remember that, okay? Just remember that. Now,